My name's Barbara Gray and welcome to Claritystamps. Today I thought I would like to show you a couple of my favourite stamps, the silver birch and accompanying leaves, and just do a really nice card using a load of Adirondacks and a Speedball Brayer. So I think we'll just get started and then we'll learn as we go along. So the first thing I want to do is ink up my silver birch. Fantastic stamp. Great for all seasons. I think I love the silver birch. It always stands out in a forest, doesn't it? And so what we want to do first is ink it up with a black Adirondack. And before I carry on, I just want to pop a piece of copy paper underneath my Clarity card just to catch any ends. And then I'm going to stamp my tree trunks at one end of the card. Now the card I'm using is a coated stock, so it's not glossy, but it's coated. It's certainly shiny. And then what I want to do now is just add a couple of trees to the other end as well. Now this needs to be completely dry. What I'm going to do now though is lose one of my tree trunks. So you see there, if I do it like that, then I'll leave one of the tree trunks on there, which is exactly what we're after. Now for the next step, this needs to be completely dry, so I'm going to put that to one side, and then I'm just going to bring in one that I did earlier that's been drying for about 5 minutes. And what I want to do is put a beautiful background in. Now to put the beautiful background in, I've got to cover up the trees. I've got to mask them, if you like. So my way of doing that is to glaze them. And I'm going to do that with embossing powder and a Versamark embossing pen. I think before we begin though, what I'd like to do is just dust the whole thing with talcum powder. And you'll find that if you do that, then the powder, the embossing powder, won't stick. It acts as an anti-static and it smells really nice too. So let's just do this. And then what we'll do is we'll start trunk by trunk, we'll start embossing. Because I'm working with coated stock, I don't want to get my fingers all over it. So I'm just going to put a piece of copy paper down. And then I'll just do one trunk now, and then we'll move to one that I've already done. But what I'm pretty much going to do is paint the tree trunks with the Versamark, like so. I'll just do one so you get the picture. And you're just going to run this Versamark pen. It's great, it's got two ends, you see. So you've got the brush end, and then you've also got the bullet, which works great if you want to get into some tiny areas. Very clever pen, this. And then when we've done, you could do 2 or 3 of these trunks at a time because we're working on coated stock. And then when you've done that, what we're going to do is just put down some detail clear powder, then tip this off, blow, and you'll see that the detail embossing powder, it just falls away from the card. Now before we carry on, let's just put this away so we don't have a calamity. There we are. We'll just sort that out afterwards. And then when we're going to heat this now, but I'm going to suggest that we heat it from underneath. So I just want to make sure there are no stray speckles. And then I'm going to just heat from underneath. Now, by heating from underneath, I'm going to get a really good, smooth satin finish. If you heat from on top, it tends to go a bit dimply. And if you heat from underneath, the glaze is very, very smooth. I suppose it just takes a little longer to melt. Let's go into a faster heat. Getting bored with this. Right, there we are. Now I've just done one trunk, but obviously you can do 2 or 3 at a time. And I just want to show you one that I did earlier just to save a little bit of time. So let's just take a look now at the glazed effect. Okay, so we've glazed our trees and now they're covered, you see, so now we can do the background. And in order to do that, I'm going to just pop that on there, and I want to put a moon or a sun in place behind that tree. I think that will look cool. There we are. And I want to show you how to use our blending mat. We've got this fantastic mat, it's a Clarity mat. Really good when you use it with a brayer because it stages the ink for you. And so what we're going to do is the sky first. I'm going to use a Speedball Brayer and I'm going to use stone washed. Now have a look how I load the brayer. Instead of loading long ways, I'm going to just ink the centre of the brayer. There we are, like so. Now, the thing about the blending mat is it stages, or it holds the ink for me. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I just spread the ink onto the blending mat, there are thousands of tiny pores which pick up this ink. And then I can just transfer the ink straight over, like this, to the card. Oh, it's got a mind of its own. Let me just hold it, because I don't want to put my fingerprints on it. That's better. See, now I can go back into this is the cool bit, I can go back into the blending mat and I can pick up more ink for the sky. And back in again. And even though you think there's none there, look, it looks as if it's absolutely empty, you'll be surprised how much ink is in there. So let's just get that sky sorted out first. There we are. And you see, because we glazed the trees, they're lovely and crisp. And we can take our sky away, our moon away, sorry, or our sun, and there we've got our white silver birches. So next step is the hills. So let me just put the lid on this one, and now we'll go to the hills. Now you remember I said on the mat here we've got the this lovely wavy edge here. It's perfect for tearing hills. So if you want nice smooth hills, this is the way forward. Just hold the mat like so, and then just tear your copy paper along here, and this will give you a really cool hills like so. Right, there we are. So I've got my hills in place, and then what we want to do now is take the mat again, and I'm going to use lettuce, which will make a really nice hill colour for the front. Now let's take a look at this. So we'll just load up with lettuce again, just as we did before, and now we'll just deposit the green like this. See, there it is. So you can deposit the green like so, and then we're just going to pop our hills in. So we'll cover up where we want the hill to be, like that. I think that'll be nice. And then we're just going to run our brayer backwards and forwards in that area. You see, so when I lift that away, you can see straight away you've got your hills. And don't worry about the tree trunks being a little bit green. That will change in a minute. So we'll just add a bit more depth down there, and then I'm going to move the hill over a piece like that. And now we're going to put another hill in this area. So you hold your card and you hold your hill, and then you add a bit more green. There we are, like so. And that's how you get your graduated hills. Look, it's rather nice. And then you can take your paper towel, you see, and once again, let me just hold this. I'm just going to wipe through the trees, and they come back as white, just like silver birches do. Okay, so we've got our sky and we've got our hills. Now the next thing is we want to add some leaves. So we've got choices now, and I've got a couple of ink pads going, and I also want to I wanted to show you that you can actually use the ink from the blending mat to stamp too. Now this is actually fantastic. If you think, often when you buy an ink pad, it's obviously it's new, and sometimes they're a little bit on the wet side, if you know what I mean. Now the thing about this is, if you put the ink, if you add the ink to the blending mat and then you just roll it out, then you've got like a perfect dosage, if you like, and you haven't got to worry about it, especially on shiny card like this. You don't have to worry about it being too wet. Now if I go into the ink pad directly, you know this is going to be a lot darker, but it doesn't matter if I go over the tree trunks, because what this is going to do, of course, is going to add some foliage down behind the trees. Because we've glazed them, this is the best part of it really. So if I blot it, you see, there we are. You can wipe this all clean afterwards, so we can get different depths of greenness just by blotting or using the mat. Now there's another little leaf that goes with this silver birch, and this is the one that I use to actually attach to the little branches also that I drew when I drew this. You see, here we are. So I can just add a couple of little leaves in the higher areas of the tree. This looks really cool, doesn't it? There we go. And we can add a little bit round the back. See, the thing about this as well, what's lovely when you do this is, I mean, I'm doing a really nice spring, vibrant kind of colour, but you could just as easily do the first part just as I did with the you could do the first part just as I did with glazing the silver birches, and then put a really dark night sky in, or if you like autumn, like my mum's favourite time of the year is autumn, then you could do it all with oranges and browns and yellows. That's gorgeous too, and you get your butterscotch out, etc. So we've got our leaves, and you can build on this, but I think you get the picture. And then the next thing we want to do is we need to blot this. So let's just take our copy paper and let's blot this. It'll take about 5 minutes to dry properly, and then we can clean our silver birch branches as well. So while that's drying, I've got a suggestion. I want to show you a little trick that I came up with, and it's a really nice creative little thing, but it can transform a piece of artwork quite dramatically. So all I need is a ruler and a black fine line pen, just a Micron pen, and we're going to use the bevel edge facing upwards so we don't smear. And then I'm just going to run straight across the sky like so, going through the moon as well. And every time I get to a tree, I'm going to stop. So there we are. Each time I hit a tree or a leaf, I'll stop. And then I'll come back through like so, right across. When I hit a tree or a leaf, I'll break, and then off the other side. Then when I lift this up, I can wipe it, and then we'll go in again, and I'll add another wire if you like. There we are, this one's on an angle, and we're just going to add a little bit of depth to the picture. Right, here we are, across the sky, and then round the back of the trees and the leaves. Okay, rocking. The last thing I want to show you is how to draw a couple of little birds on the wire. So again, I want to lean on a piece of copy paper, and I'll show you how to do this. Let's decide where we want to put the birds. I'm going to put them right here on this lower wire, I think. This is a trick that's very, very simple. Draw a little heart, and then colour the heart in. And then give the heart a little head, and give the head a little beak, and then add a couple of tails. There we are. There's one. Let's give him a partner. There's another heart, and then we'll colour the heart in, and then we'll give the heart a head. Oh, I think this is the boy, he's a bit bigger. There we are. So there they are, sitting on the wire in the moonlight. And then, when this is completely dry, you see I can go through here and I can just wipe this like that. And the trees come back. Look, I'll show you. If I take this piece of copy paper and I'll take another piece of copy paper just to shield the work on that side and that side. I can just wipe that clean without affecting the artwork at all, you see? And I should just work my way through my trees and just wipe the trees clean, and you will see that they come back like that. So there we are. That's how it works. And I'm just going to talk among yourselves while I just clean these trees. There we are. Just make sure that you don't smear the artwork after all that, because then you will be frustrated. There we go. Lovely, 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 lovely. Good. So there we have it, a little exercise in how to use a brayer with a clarity blending mat, using a few of the Adirondack dye-based inks, and how to draw a couple of birds on a wire. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.